From Deep Purple to a totally new spectrum, Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. These are the sounds from the guy whose guitar helped sell 14 million records in just 1 year, Ritchie Blackmore, one of the founders and driving forces of the Deep Purple. Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, because he decided to look for new colors, a new world of sound. This is the Ritchie Blackmore Rainbow Radio Special. Not only the sounds, but Ritchie himself, rapping along with Ronnie James Dio, the exciting young vocalist who also co-wrote many of the songs on the album. It's a new horizon in music.
Going back to my early childhood, I was abandoned at a station, Charing Cross Road, very early age of 25. No, I picked up the guitar when I was 11, started seriously classical studies when I was 12, carried on classical guitar until I was 15. After I was 15, my job was a radio mechanic working with aircraft. After a year of that, I realized that the guitar was my life. Then I picked the guitar up again because I left it alone for about a year. Then I started studying seriously, playing just rock and roll. An old guitar teacher of mine once said that whatever guitar playing you're going to take up, make sure it's one type of guitar playing. So I decided upon playing the rock and roll guitar, maybe because of the glamour, but rock and roll to me was very demanding. It was very challenging because it was very limiting, and that is why I took up the rock and roll guitar. So since I was 15, 16 years old, I've been playing rock and roll guitar.
I started my interest in music by just listening to the radio when my parents would turn it on in the morning after their daily toil, getting myself ready for school, hearing what they used to play, which certainly wasn't rock and roll. It was big band things. Anytime they could find out.
How do you know? So we're getting old now.
Not really old enough to know. They used to tape all the radio programs for Harry James, Benny Goodman, people like that. This was in New York. I'm a native New Yorker. Not New York City, but upstate New York, right square in the middle of it almost. And from that early influence, just listening to that big band thing, in those days it was kind of boogie music, actually, the forerunner of the boogie that you hear now. My father one day said to me, "Right, how would you like to play an instrument?" I said, "Well, what's that?" I wanted to play ball. I didn't care about playing an instrument. He said, "Well, if you hear something that you like on the radio, pick it out and let me know." Well, luckily I didn't. There was no tuba piece on at the moment. It was Harry James. And I said, "That sounds good. What do you call that thing?" My father, being the brilliant musical intellect that he was, said, "I don't know, I'll call someone and find out for you." And so he did, and he found out that Harry James played clarinet. Oh, no, sorry, even I've forgotten. Harry James was a trumpet player. My father said, "Well, I'll pick you up a trumpet tomorrow when I go to the pawn shop." So he happened to pass the pawn shop.
Is that relative to pornographic?
Yes, it is pornographic. I was a very pornographic trumpet player as well. They picked me up a horn. I played it for a while, and that was my early classical training. I played in orchestras with violins and cellos and violas and bassoons and timpani and all of that instead of guitars. And I had many formal lessons. I was at one point going to go to Juilliard. I had a scholarship to Juilliard for playing trumpet. But in that interim between having a chance to go to Juilliard and doing what I like to do, I one day heard a band that had trumpets, amazingly enough, in it, and the trumpet player stood up and sang Hound Dog, and I went, that is where it's at. I mean, that's what's done it. Hound Dog is the thing. I don't care if he's trumpet player, whatever he is. And just I can still remember that first day, hearing that person doing that. I said, "No more trumpet. Got to do something else." So I picked up a guitar, learned to play it a bit. Not very well at all. Still don't. But it was at least a rock and roll influence. from there, my whole life was channeled towards volume music, hard, inside your stomach, gut music, instead of Harry James. The track that most exemplifies the medieval music that we've been talking about is a song called 16th Century Greensleeves, inspired by Elvis Presley, written by Judy Garland.
Robin Hood.
Oh, sorry. Written by Robin Hood, but we are taking publishing on whatever Robin Hood has written since then. Anyway, the song is our idea of a castle where the Black Knight lives. The Black Knight, of course, being Ritchie. And the Black Knight periodically comes out of his castle and captures a young peasant maiden from the village where they're all living in squalor, brings her back to the castle. It's very, very rude. And he does this over the period of 15 or 20 years. I haven't really sorted it out yet. Finally, one day, the peasants say, wrong. You've taken the wrong chick. This is the chick that is going to save the village. So we're going to revolt against you.
Why is she going to save the village?
She's going to save the village because she has 11 fingers on one hand. Now, this obviously becomes a portent of vast capability. So in order to save those 11 fingers on one hand, by the way, she doesn't have a left hand. The 11 are on her right hand, and she only has 9 toes, which means that it all comes back around to having only 20 digitals. So in that case, seeing that she's all that fouled up anyway, they decide to revolt against the Black Knight, and they cut down the castle, or they cut down the drawbridge. They would cut down the castle if they had a sharp enough knife or whatever. Actually, they attacked the castle, or as they say in Hounslow, the castle. They attack the castle,
yes,
and they cut down the drawbridge, and they hang up the Black Knight right by his left thumb. And then they put him in the fire, and they take over the village. Well, I guess what it kind of comes down to is that we've had quite a change from the 16th century to now the 20th century, whereby we're all very, very free people, able to do with our money what we want to do, and with our lives what we want to do. And if you believe that, anyone out there, you are wrong, and wrong. But the point is that this is a song called 16th Century Greensleeves, and I think the music will convey to you that medieval was our intent and our concept, and we hope it's a new kind of rock and roll music anyway. It's something that we like a lot.
It's only 400 years old.